You're also tracking the storm here. Kelsey is taking a look at it for us. And Kelsey, it's large, it's slow moving, and those winds, those damaging winds, you know, Brian was just telling us what they're seeing in some parts of the island already.
Yeah, Marie, and it's not just Cuba. We're also seeing the impacts across countries like Haiti, Dominican Republic, still seeing Jamaica on the south end of this storm. This morning, the center of it just passing across the southeastern tip of Cuba. It will continue its northeastern track. You can see it's picked up speed a little bit in comparison to yesterday. We saw speed yesterday sitting around 11 kilometers an hour to the northeast. So we bumped that up nearly to 20, but still those sustained winds at 185 kilometers an hour. Important to note, Category 3 obviously downgraded from yesterday when it was a Category 5, but a Category 3 is still a major hurricane. So this has a lot of energy associated with it. This projection pushing up northeastward toward the Bahamas. Storm surge is going to be a big factor with this as we see it push back out into open water. Areas of the islands will likely see a large amount of water potentially coming on shore with added waves on top of that. This continues its track northward. We're likely to see rip currents all along the U.S. East Coast and into Canada as we head toward Friday. But here's what's interesting. For the first time, we're seeing potentially a shift westward. This could impact Canadian communities largely in terms of wind and rainfall as we head toward the end of that projection. And I'll show you that here. As we go through the Bahamas, it's potentially sitting as a Category 2, entering into a less favorable atmosphere. We see two things happen. The water temperature is colder as we head farther north, and warm water acts as fuel for a storm like this. But we also see a highly sheared environment as this storm pushes its way northward. Shear is wind that changes speed and direction with height, and that corkscrewing is not ideal for continued hurricane development or maintaining strength. So as it pushes its way northward, it potentially transitions to what's called an extratropical cyclone. That means it's still a very strong weather system. It would lose its tropical characteristics and no longer be warm cored, instead bringing with it, as it pushes northward into Canadian waters, a high amount of rainfall and potentially strong winds through areas of Newfoundland in particular. Now, all of that happening in addition to the Canadian forecast itself. We have another weather system right at the bottom of your screen there that is going to tap into some of that moisture from Melissa and fuel the rainfall forecast in provinces like Ontario, Quebec, and our Maritimes as we head into Friday. As early as Thursday, we start to see that rainfall within Ontario and Quebec. So that rounds out our week. In terms of temperature, as all of this pushes its way northward, it pulls up that mild air. And so in our Maritimes, you see this bump up in temperatures. Halifax goes from 11 today up to 17 by Friday. So not necessarily a cold Halloween forecast, but certainly a wet one as we see a couple different factors in the atmosphere, not just Melissa, but also weather systems that are tracking across the U.S. Midwest, and one coming in off the Atlantic that will not only drive cloud cover through today, but the potential for those rain showers beginning as early as tomorrow. We're going to talk